What's going on, people? This is Shy Harrison. Today is another edition of Interviews with the Rebel. And today I have the pleasure of sitting down with the print god of Hampton Roads, Mr. Josh Alvelo, otherwise known as Mr. Innovative Twist.
Yeah, that's what everybody knows me as.
Yeah, I already know. I know. How's everything going, man?
That's good. You know, this coronavirus needs to go away.
Yeah, ASAP.
That's
ASAP.
definitely hurting the print game right now.
How has Corona been treating you?
You know, it started to pick up after some of those.
The first couple months?
Yeah, well, the first couple months it died because they closed it down. So the only thing I could print for was churches and restaurants.
Right.
Everything else was gone. So it leaves us to print for who? And our niche was always nightlife and stuff like that. So it's a drastic change. Yeah. So, you know, we dealt with that. Then they lifted some of the restrictions. Mm-hmm. So then it started to finally pick back up. And then they put more restrictions back down. And you're like, you know, so if it wasn't for the shirts that we do, you know, large format sign stuff, we'd be dead in the water.
Yeah. Damn.
You know? So we just pivoted. We had to move into getting a DTG machine so that we could do direct to garment printing now on demand. Focusing more on the branding side of things now, you know, because prior to this, I was about to launch the branding and then really focusing now on the nonprofit on kids and biz so that we can get that ready because that was just a dream.
We're going to touch on that. Yeah. You got a lot of stuff going on. So for the people that don't know you, how would you describe yourself?
I am...
How would you describe yourself and what you do?
Okay, so I'm kind of different. I'm not your average print shop. I care about the success of your business more than the money. Right. You know, so for me, when you come into me and you're ready to purchase something, most of the time you're walking out the door because you got homework because you're not ready to really purchase because I don't want to just take your money. Right. So we sit down and when we talk, I'm trying to figure out who your customer is, what your business is, how can I really help?
All the branding questions.
All the branding questions that most customers don't know. Right. So what we do is I dive deep and just give ideas and ideas and ideas. And then when they leave, they just feel like, I should have just paid you I should have paid you for all that. True. You know, because it will change their business drastically. So for me, it's a relationship. I want the relationship than the money. So if I can help you build your business and make you successful, then you're in for the long haul. Why? Because now the more you come to me, it's because we're ready. Right. We know who we're hitting, what products you need. And now we spend money together, but it took you to do your homework so that you spent it wisely. And
you come across somebody that really cares about the success of somebody else's business. Right. It's not somebody that's money hungry, just looking to try to make a quick dollar.
Exactly. It's not a quick thing for me. You know, maybe in the beginning when I started, it was this is print, you know, but then I started to see it was a trend like businesses will be here and then they're gone in a year or two. Right. But it's because they were never
And that doesn't help you if all your businesses that you work with are out of business in six months to a year.
Correct. So like when COVID hit, right? Other print shops were mad because of the prices that I dropped when COVID hit. Like they didn't understand, like I was giving the stuff away at cost at this point. Right. I wasn't making any money at all. So at this point, I need to help them stay afloat through this pandemic so that when this is all over with, they're still in business and we can continue where we left off. So they were mad because they thought, oh, you're just trying to undercut. No, we're not trying to undercut. We're trying to make sure they survive just like I'm trying to survive. Right. That's all.
Because they survive, you're going to keep having money coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So even though I feel like we kind of just hop right into it, I got an icebreaker question for you. All right. So I feel like music is the soundtrack to all our lives. So if you had to put together a playlist of like 3 songs that really speak to your career. Okay. What 3 songs would it be?
So the funny part is I don't listen to music like that.
Okay.
Like so.
But there has to be some type of song that.
Yeah, it's always my kids know the song. Started from the bottom, now we here. Okay. For sure. What's the one? think it's a Rick Ross song, the Boss one.
Yeah.
You know, and what's another one? You really making me think because I don't really like listen to music.
That's what we're
like
here
that.
for, man.
Yeah.
I'm here to make you think a little bit.
Like I listen to podcasts more than I do music.
Yeah, same here.
So I'm like, I'm really just have to go with those two because I really can't think of another one.
Okay.
And if I do, I'll let you know. But I'm gonna have to go with those two.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You know, because the struggle was real in the beginning.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, so now you've been doing it 15 years. You kind of know, like, you know, you called the god of print. I go to king of print. You know, and that's what everybody knows me by.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even know my name really. They just know, oh, you're Innovate Twist.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
Okay. So speaking of which, let's get into that little origin story a little bit. How did you get started with everything?
So when I got out, so I was in the military. That's what brought me here. So I'm from Pennsylvania originally. Military brought me here. I did 4 years. 9/11 was my first tour, you know. Had a kid, realized this isn't for me. Got out, figured out that I was an IT then in the Navy. And I had all the Navy experience. I was a lead network administrator.
Yeah.
But that didn't translate when I got out. I tried getting a job.
It did? I don't think.
You know, I didn't have college.
Okay.
And they were really wanting college, you know, bound people to work in these, because I wasn't doing an entry level one, not with the education I got to do it, you know.
Right.
So then I ended up working at Kinko's, and then that's where I learned the print game, you know. So from there, it was history.
Yeah.
You know, worked at another company, doing what I do, left them, started my own, and my first day in business made $5,000. Never looked back since.
Your first day in business.
Yeah. So, but it was because I was a salesperson at another company, so I already built relationships. Everybody
so
knew
you got
me.
everybody kind of follow you over.
Yeah, because I care. You know, like it wasn't since day one. It wasn't always for money. It was really understanding business and understanding. So they knew they can call me. I'd get calls 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like I would answer my phone.
Yeah.
So building those relationships, they actually just came. You know, I didn't say, hey, come with me, I'm leaving, you know, but so from there, did that, made 5. And then, I mean, I've been in a 6-figure business since I started, since day one, you know, since my first year. But it was because I hustled.
Yeah.
You know, I had to get my name out there. I had to compete against everybody else. And but I knew what was needed. I knew what was lacking because I seen it. I was out there.
Right.
I was out in the clubs. I was out everywhere promoting. You know, it was funny because I used to promote like I was an artist. You know, I used to have flyers.
I see you out here, man.
I used to have flyers, and Lamar actually took some photos of me, and I'm sitting on a in an alleyway in Norfolk.
Yeah.
And I will put those out, and people are like, "Are you an artist?" I'm like, "No, I print. I print stuff like this."
Right.
You know, and I mean that's just how everything built. And my niche was always nightlife, but then it started getting to the point where the corporate world liked the way the designs were. They were tired of that simple, the basic corporate look.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted something different, and that's how I picked up all these other companies that you would never think of. You know, that wanted to finally reach a whole different demographic by the looks. You know? The look is everything. People don't understand, like, you have to invest in your look.
True.
Because if it looks like crap, you're going to get crap customers. If it looks like you spent money, they come
people that got some money.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's facts, you know. So it all is going to boil down to who are you trying to attract? You have to invest that money to make it look that way.
True.
And that's how we picked up customers. We picked up Hooters and Short Break, Hot Tune, all these customers that, you know, we normally wouldn't have.
Right. All right. So when you first started out, I feel like you fast forward a little bit, but we're going to take it back a little bit. So when you first started out, what were some things like in that first year or so of having Innovative Twist that you feel like you might have messed up on, and what did you learn from it?
I think in the beginning, it was not understanding business.
Okay.
You know, like
speak to that though.
So nobody really, you know, we jump into things. We're like, oh, I could do this better than that person. Not understanding like they've been through all the headaches and hiccups. So yeah, you probably could.
Right.
But understand it's a lot more work now. You're not just the employee who was selling print anymore.
Yep.
Now you're the guy who's running the business, the everyday to day stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it came to figuring out taxes, came to figuring out, sorry, my phone doesn't stop. But figuring out the business structure, what's the best way to do it, how to keep the accounting straight, how, you know, how to set up vendors. And, you know, it gets to the point that they're like, dang, this is a lot more than just going out and selling it. Yeah. So the hiccups were always learning the hardship of the business side of stuff. You know, how does business credit work? How do I set up a vendor? You know, so, sorry guys, this thing is supposed to stop.
How long did it take you to really like grasp it though?
It probably took a couple of years. Well, only because every step of the way was always something new that you never knew about. So it's not something that you could just plan and be like, especially if you have nobody holding your hand along the way. Like,
you might think you got accounting together, but then taxes come.
Right.
You got to learn something new or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. And then you're like, wait, what? Why didn't you tell me that? And, you know, but they don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So how can you help me understand something if you're not telling me?
Right.
You know, so it was a lot of that. And then being able to get past that. So changing vendors because, you know, issues happened or whatever the case was. Sorry, guys. These are like literally all customer calls. Let me silence this.
All right.
So for me, that was a lot of, I don't even know if I know how. I think I did it.
All right.
So for me, that was a lot of the headaches, you know, figuring out really taxes was a big one. You know, that's for everybody. So now it's, you know, and it's cool now because I can speak on how to get past certain hurdles because I had to go through them, but everything was trial and error.
Right.
So I had to figure out on my own because there wasn't mentors back then. I mean, still to this day, you probably...
There's not really too many people out there that's really going to give you the game like that.
Because they're scared you're going to take their customers, not understanding God gave you your vision and I have mine.
I have a completely different vision.
Right. Yeah. So we can work together. I'm not scared to work together. How many breads are in the aisle?
Right.
Everybody has a preference. You're going to be attracted to my personality, the way I do business. You're going to be attracted to the next person. I don't care if there's 10 of us in a room. We all can eat together and we all have something different to speak on.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what...
Most people that think that way usually don't really grow because the only way you're going to really be able to grow your base is if you start to partner and reach out to different people and you might learn a little bit from them, learn some from this other company, and then you start to blossom.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things is everyone says I'm self-made, right?
Yeah.
I got a shirt coming out that says, fuck self-made, meet my team.
Right.
Because nowadays you have to have a team.
Yeah.
You can't, you're gonna hit a plateau. Like, you're not gonna be able to get past this level because you're just stuck. You're one person. How can you do
so much you can do by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So now when you bring on a team that can do more as a group, you elevate to the next level and it keeps going. But
you can do bigger projects, you can make more money, you can everything just grows at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you kind of mentioned it before, but when you first started, when you had Innovative Twists, like you was actually in business for yourself, how were you getting the name out there about what you do? I know you, like say, you touched on it before. But.
So a lot of it back then was guerrilla marketing.
Okay.
Door to door.
Yeah.
Going to the clubs, handing out flyers, putting them on the cars, just almost literally promoting it like it was a concert.
Okay.
And that really was like my grassroots. That's how I got it. And then from there, it was just referrals. People just being like, oh, nah, hit Josh. You know, he'll do it. He got you.
Yeah.
And then understanding people wanted to turn around. People wanted dope designs. You know, like everything I did was self-taught. I didn't go to school for none of this.
So when you first started, were you just doing print or you were doing the design part of it too?
Nah, both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, and then I'm the type of person, I'll go to a spot and I'll go to a jewelry store and I see their graphics and I don't like it. So I grab their stuff, I'll grab the flyer, the business card, go back to the shop, design it up real quick the way I want, go back, print like 100 of each, go to the shop, be like, here, these are on me, let me know when you're ready for your next order. 9 out of 10 times, they're ordering more on the spot. But people don't...
Speak about that, like, because nobody really does that.
Nah, and it works. I literally had a conversation. Yeah, I had a conversation with a client yesterday or the day before about the same thing. You know...
What's the thought process behind doing something like that?
For me, it's, I know how good I am. You have to be confident. I'm confident in everything that I do.
Right.
You know, so for me, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there I don't like their graphics, and I know if I can change their graphics, they can get new customers.
Right.
Because if it looks cheap, you're gonna get cheap. But if you're a jewelry company, don't you want to look like Zales and all the other ones? Because those are the customers that are spending more money than just your cheap customers that are only spending $20. You want a $100 customer now.
Right.
So I'm gonna make your graphics and everything look like a $100 customer. Right. I'm gonna target a certain person by the look that I created. Okay. So, you know, for me, if they didn't do it, I took a loss. But did I really take a loss? No. No. You know, because now I'm on his radar.
Yeah, so, they know who you are now.
Exactly. Yeah. So you don't take a loss, but sometimes you got to give to get. So I'm going to give you something free in hopes that I'm going to get you as a customer. I've done it so many times. I did it with Maggie McFly's. Yeah. You know, and when they first got here, we didn't like their comment cards. I redid the comment cards, brought it to the shop, got a phone call from corporate because they're out of Connecticut, picked up all their franchise stores just by doing that one thing.
That's a hustle right there.
So so just, you know, whatever it is, it's you know, now I tell people it's all in proximity. Money's in proximity, right? So if I want to get the next big customer, right, I'm gonna do exactly what I did. I aligned myself into that particular place because that's where I wanted to be. For whatever my next goal is. Whatever my goal is, I'm aligning myself in certain places and certain people to accomplish my goal because I can't do it by myself. But I know this person knows this person. And if I keep taking care of this person, they're going to talk about me. And now I'm going to reach the person I was trying to reach.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So what are your thoughts on the people that, you know, despise working for free? I wholeheartedly believe in working for free.
Listen, you have to get your name out there. At the end of the day, it pays off.
Yeah. Would you work for free now? I mean,
I still do. Yeah, I still do. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think about it. Everybody who comes to my office, I'm giving you free consultation. I'm literally giving you free nuggets every time you come to my office that's going to generate you money in your business. Right. You know, every time. Doesn't matter what kind of business you are. I'm literally going to sit there and I want to analyze your business because I know, like, right now, I charge $5,000 for a brand package, you know? Yeah. Most people can't afford it right now, but please understand that when you do pay that, your return on investment is on 1,000. Money's worth. Yeah, because we know who you're reaching, we know the look, and that's what you're investing in. It's literally, people just think they can just start a print company tomorrow. Not understanding, it never works that way. Yeah. You know, any business, you just can't. You know, you have to build a following. Everything is all about trust. I've been in the game 15 years. Everybody trusts me. I've never done bad business. Right. So, you know, if something's wrong, we're going to correct it. It ain't an issue. Even if I lose money, it's cool. No problem. You know, because the relationship costs more money to me than that print product at that time. Right.
Okay. So, throughout your journey, when did you start to feel like your business was elevating? Or did you always feel that way?
I've always elevated every year. So I've never had, I mean, entrepreneurship is a struggle. True. It's a lonely place. It's, you know, in this market, you don't have that support system that, you know, the accountability and stuff like that. So there's times you're like, yo, I'm done. Like, this is stressful. Like, you know, because we make money, but we lose money along the way. You know, people don't understand what the expenses look like. So you might bring in 50 grand, but your expenses is like 20, you know? And then there's months that are slow and you're like, oh, you know? And then we're the type of people that we help people so much that we care about you more than we care about ourselves. But then it gets to the point like,
some lady you start to think about yourself a little bit.
Right, because at the end of the day, you're looking at that bank account, and because you're helping so many people, your bank account's real low. Yeah. And you're like, wait, how am I going to take care of this? You know, we've had those epiphanies so many times, and we just had to sit back and just listen, you know, and God's like, listen, you got to cut people off. And I remember one year, it was a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, me and my wife were just like, we were at a point we're looking and we're like, how are we paying the mortgage next month? And we make money, you know, but when you're helping so many people, you don't see it go as quick as it goes. So we're like, how are we going to pay this? And I'm praying and God's like, you need to let everybody go.
So when you say that, you mean as far as like people on your team or just people around you?
Everything. So the people who are leeches, you know, who just know you're always going to help, and your team, because most of the time, for me, I've always hired people that were in need. And I didn't need them per se in that particular moment because I was able to handle everything on my own, you know, or with the people I already had on board. But certain life situations happen where I had, you know, the nice person I am, I want to help them. I want to make sure that they can transition into whatever they needed to do. So I bring them on, I create a position, and now I'm taking care of you, you know, where now I'm taking money away from them.
You really didn't need to bring them in.
Exactly. So, you know, guys like get rid of everybody.
How did that make you feel?
You know, it's a scary thing because a lot of people rely on you. But sometimes you have to let people go. Because if I didn't let them go, I wouldn't be here today. You know, sometimes you really had to look and be like, is this person worth losing it all? And it can be family. It was family. I had family work for me. It was friends, you know. But at the end of the day, what was more important? My wife and kids, or making sure they were good, and they weren't in it for the right reason. They weren't in it to see me succeed. And when I succeed, they succeed. You know, it was always, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? And complain along the way. You know, like I can't do complaints. I can't do, you know, I need it to be mutual if we're going to work together. Because my goal is always never to have someone work for me forever, but teach you so that you can go on your own. Even if it was the print game. You know, I'll teach you everything you need to know, and then you can go and do it. Because, again, we're not competition. You know, you have your own personality, I have mine. I'm going to have my own clients, you're going to have yours. And there's going to be times that because I helped you get to where you are, I can call you and be like, hey, I need a favor. You can do the same. Hey, I need a favor. And when that happens, we just build a big group of businesses that thrive together. You know, so once I let them go in December, that January, I think we probably hit 60,000 for the month. The highest we ever hit in a month. You know. But then it puts all the onus on you, right? Right. So. Which ain't bad. I was already cool with that. Oh, okay. You know, because everything's about systems and processes. So I've already had the systems and processes in place for me to do what I had to do by myself. Okay. So letting them go, that meant now I got to work a little longer. My wife comes in, helps, you know, and we were cool with that because, again, this is our livelihood. This is all we do. This is what pays our bills. So we had to make sacrifices to get back to where we needed to be. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. So, you sparked so many questions with that. Teams. So for people who are getting into whatever, what do you feel like, if you're trying to build out a team, what do you feel like are the key positions that you need to, you know, fill when you're trying to build like a solid team? And I know it's going to be different depending on the industry. It is, but the main thing that's going to be consistent across the thing is the mission has to be aligned and their values have to be aligned. You know what I'm saying? So if my goal is to be the #1 print shop or let's say marketing company, right? Who else has that same goal and vision? Because if you don't have that vision and you just want to be a solo person and your goal to be by yourself the #1, okay, cool. You can't be part of my team because you're always going to think by yourself and not as a group. You know, so I'm going to choose people to be on my team that want to see the vision grow because we all make money when the vision grows. So if we want to be the #1 marketing company in Hampton Roads, I can't do that by myself. You do video. He does print. He does this. So together, we're unstoppable. You know, because you bring something to the table other than just the video stuff, right? You're bringing knowledge to the table that can help me when I'm selling different products and vice versa. You know, when I go in a meeting and if I already know about a subject, I can easily pitch, and we can do video because this will do this, this, and this, and this. You know, because you taught me what I needed to know, at least the basics. Your job, you know, you sell it a lot more than me. But when it comes to a team, I'm looking for people who are going to be on the same level as me as far as how I think and how I move. Because if I move fast, you got to move fast. I can't hold you and carry you while I'm moving.
So all that's going to do is slow you down.
It's just going to slow me down.
Yeah.
And now someone else can get ahead of us because you're slowing us down. So you got to be motivated. I can't be on top of you. We just have a common goal and a common interest. And for us to reach it together, we got to run together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't carry you. Yeah, you have a bad moment, month, whatever. Yeah, we're there to pick you up, but you can't stay there.
Right.
And people stay there.
A lot of people stay
there. A lot of people stay there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the biggest problems is you think, you know, as a matter of fact, look, failure equals greatness, right? People don't understand that every failure equals greatness. We have to fail for us to get to the next step of success.
Yeah.
Because if we don't hit it now, we're going to hit it 10 times and go back 20.
Right.
So we have to know now what our failures are, what's not working. How do we fix this? Okay, do we got to bring somebody else on? Do we got to change this process, this system? You know, because it's not working. Every time we try it, it just keeps breaking.
Right.
You know, so to me, it's just making sure that that person is understands what the right mission is and they're motivated. Because if they're not motivated, I can't motivate you. I'm already motivated. I'm hype. I'm ready to go. But if I got to motivate you too, I mean, that's going to drain the energy that's in the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Very draining. All right. So before that, you talked a lot about processes, workflows, all that type of stuff. It's something that I've actually recently kind of like incorporated more into my business, and it's helped my business out tremendously. So I'm trying to figure out what is the actual question I want to ask in regards to that. How has processes helped you out? And how do you feel like processes just benefit businesses in general?
So I have processes. I know another print shop that doesn't have processes.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff falls and you forget about a lot of things if you don't have them in place, you know?
Yeah.
And then
As a matter of fact, before you get into it, I feel like a lot of people who might be watching this don't know what processes are. So how would you describe processes?
All right. So processes is literally, for me, I do different ones. So it's from the customer standpoint through the whole process. I'm creating a flow chart from when my customer walks in the door. And now I'm splitting it. Do they already have graphics? Do they need graphics and print? Now they're going to flow this way. Okay, if they need graphics, I'm going to send this to my graphic designer. Then from that point, the graphic designer is going to send it back. I send it to the client. The client approves it. If they approve it, then it goes to the print process. If they have a change, I send it back to the graphic designer. So it's literally a flow chart dictating every single step of the way for the client, and then the opposite for you. Okay, now it's my turn. Yeah, and that's for every part of the business. So my receptionist, she's gonna have this process, and you know, and then my production person, they're gonna have this process. Because it's easy to be accountable at this point.
Yeah.
You know, so like on the branding side, when we do our branding stuff, if we say we're getting your brand done in 45 days, literally from day 1 to 45, we know exactly what's going to happen in each section, from the web to the photography, from the graphic design, you know. So I can literally look and be like, okay, today's day 15. We should be sending this out, or I should be receiving this from this person, you know. And that makes it so that you're not scatterbrained. If I didn't have that in place, I'm going to forget something.
Yeah,
you know. So if you put everything in a process, you can't forget. Because there's so many softwares out there that can autopilot a lot of this stuff for you, you know, where I know other people who don't have processes. It's weird because I make more money by myself as one person than other people who have 3 or 4 people working for them. And I'm going to tell you, because they don't have processes.
Yeah.
If they had the same processes in place, they can make twice as much, because you got twice as much more than I do, more people to do, you know, focus on and do the work that needs to be done, where I'm only one person.
And it makes you a lot more efficient.
Right. That's the key right there, efficiency.
Yeah. The way I normally think about it is I think about restaurants. I think of like mom and pop shops who food might be good, but you never know how it's going to flow every time you go in there. But you think of Chick-fil-A, who the food is good, but you know, every time you go through the drive-thru or go in, you won't get that same experience.
Exactly.
So that's why I feel like processes are key.
That's the key in business.
Yeah.
That's branding, period. You want that wow factor, because, like, you know, when you go to Chick-fil-A, someone's taking your order, then the next person's taking your cash if you're paying in cash, and then you're picking up and you're on your way. There's no waiting. Like, this is literally, they just made the process so much faster. So guess what that did? That boosted revenue because now they can get 5 cars out to the 1 car that McDonald's can put out because they put systems and processes in place before you can even pick up your food. So you have to literally think, what can a system and process do for me? If I add this piece, what's going to happen? Is this going to boost my revenue? Is this going to save me on time? Of course, that's what that's meant to do. You know, so that's how people have to look at it. And when you don't have that, you can sell, you can go online, post this product, right? And it's hot. Everybody's buying it, you know. But what happens when it gets to the back end?
All over the place. It's
all over the place. And now you're going to start losing customers. Now the reviews are going to be bad because you didn't set up the process in the back end. So yeah, I can sell a product all day long, but the key component is always going to be the process on the back end. How am I going to fulfill this order quick and in a hurry so my customer gets it when I said they were going to get it and they receive the emails and everything from the time they signed up?
I'm with you.
You know, you don't have that.
You're out back.
You're out back. And your business, you're going to you can make some quick money. But is that why you're in business? Nah, we're in it for the long haul.
True. Okay. I like that answer. To kind of switch things up a little bit, I believe you got to spend money to make money.
Absolutely.
What is one thing that you spent money on that has led to the biggest return for you?
I would say right now, because of COVID, the DTG machine.
Really?
You know, we spent about 22 grand. Because other people have these machines, but they went the cheap route. You know, so when you got the cheap route, you get the problems.
Cheap results.
And it's going to cost you more in the long run. So what did we do? We were like, you know what? Let's just invest in the top one right now, you know, where I don't have to run it every day. You know, and my print heads ain't going to be clogged, where other ones, they're going to be clogged, you know. So we were like, all right, let's invest in this. Because why? COVID made everybody want to drop a T-shirt line. Literally. Right now, everybody's doing T-shirts because of COVID. So everybody's got their crickets out. They got all this stuff out, you know. But what are you going to do when COVID's done? And we go back to somewhat normalcy, you know. Right now, you got all the time in the world, you know. Put your system and processes in place. So for us, we invested in that. And that allowed us to do things. I didn't have to sit there and do vinyl where I got to weed it and it takes forever. Now I just throw it on the machine, hit print, you know, and that's it. It's out the door. Now there's no limitations. Now I can print full color, you know, where we don't have to screen print it, you know. It might cost you a little bit more, but now our thinking was, all right, we're going to help the customer who has a clothing line by not having to buy in bulk and have inventory sitting and hope that they sell it all. Because most of the time, what happens? And then your smalls don't sell because most of your customers are larges and mediums or extra larges. So now you're sitting on those and you got to do a flash sale because it's just sitting there and burning a hole in your pocket. So now with DTG, we're like, it might cost you a little bit more, but what's going to happen is you can order one today. And it'll be ready. So when your customer places an order, you place the order, we print it, you send it to your customer. There's no inventory. Your money is still in your pocket. So people don't think, like, you just change the mindset of how can I do this where I'm not putting money out? It might cost me more, but what really? Would you rather have your product sitting there and hoping that it sells, or would you rather just buy one and ship it and call it a day and just keep it moving? You know, so that's why we decided, let's do DTG. Now let's tell people who got clothing line, look, we can screen print it. It'll be a little bit cheaper, you know, but you got to sit on the inventory. So it's your call, you know.
Okay. We're going to have to talk about that after. We're going to talk about that. All right. Kids in Biz. What's that all about?
That's my new baby right there.
I know.
So Kids in Biz, that's our nonprofit that we're launching. Our mission is to create 1 million kidpreneurs. We're trying to break that generational curse of poverty. We're trying to, we're not trying, we will. Let me correct that. We will break generational curses of poverty. We're helping with bullying because, you know, entrepreneurship, you're allowed to be different. You know, now kids are just trying to conform to today's world. You know, they feel like they got to be like this person or do what this person is doing. No. In entrepreneurship, I want you to think different, outside the box. So we decided, okay, we're going to teach kids 8 to 18 how to start their own business. Why that age group? because of failure. We want them to understand it's okay to fail at such a young age. A kid that fails right now
can fail fast.
Right, and guess what? They don't get depressed. They just gonna get up and try harder.
Yeah.
Where if I have an adult who fails right now, they're gonna get depressed.
Failing at 27 is completely different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's no confidence there. There's no, you know, none of that is there. So what we do is we'll get a 12-month program, and they learn intro to business. They learn branding, marketing, sales, communications, finances. Like they learn everything. But along the way, we're doing actions too. So their website's launching, their logo's done, their print stuff's ready, and they're selling at the same time before they even graduate.
Okay.
You know, so then they graduate. Do I let them out in the world to do it on their own? No. We're going to start our mastermind group.
Yeah.
So now, for the rest of your life, I don't care if you're 50, you went through our program, you can always come to one of our things. And twice a month, we're literally going to have guest speakers come, and we're going to have the group as a collective answer your problems in your business. So if you're having a problem with sales, we're all going to sit there and we're going to brainstorm what can we do to help you generate your sales.
More sales.
Because nobody's doing that. Even in the adult world right now, you don't have those.
Not at all.
You know, like you want that. It's accountability. You can be like, yo, because I might have went through something that you're literally just getting to. So why not make it easier by having a group of people and be like, hey, how can I fix this? What are your thoughts? Everybody has an opinion. You might take some, you might not. It's cool. But now it's in your mind like, okay, well, let me think about that. If I change this to this, was this going to help me? Is it going to generate more sales? Is it going to help my process? You know, so we realize that the kids are our future.
Yeah.
COVID taught you that you can be laid off, furloughed at any moment. So what do?
Create your own.
Have to create your own.
Yeah.
Whatever you're passionate about, I don't care what it is. It could be the weirdest idea in the world. We're going to try to figure out how to make it a business.
Yeah.
Think about, you know, I tell people all the time, think about the guy who created a noodle. $1 million company off a piece of foam that floats in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, really, who thought of that? Why? How'd you think about that? Kids at such a young age are so creative. They think so far out the box, and they also know there is no limits.
Yeah.
There is no limits. When you were a kid, you were a superhero no matter what anybody said. You believed that. And what you believe in, it became.
Yeah. And then society makes you feel like you got to conform to kind of fit the mold of what is conventional for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even as parents, we're always forcing our kids, get good grades, go to college. But let's be real. How many people went to college and don't do what they went to college
That's
for?
most people.
That's right. Yeah. Probably about 80% of people.
Yeah.
And they work a 9 to 5, if not 2 jobs, because they got to take care of their family.
And they're unhappy.
Exactly. And you're living in debt the rest of your life.
True.
Who wants to do that?
Nobody.
I don't want my kids to grow up like that. I want my kids to understand, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer where you have to go to college, cool. Other than that, YouTube University, hands-on training, like take whatever it is you love to do and turn it into a business. I remember asking my daughter, I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
You know, when you graduate, what do you want to do? She's like, you know, I like kids. Maybe I'll open up a daycare. Or no. She was like, maybe I'll move to New York and be a nanny. They get paid good money. I'm like, dang, you gonna do that? Like, so what I did was I changed the mindset real quick. I was like, why don't we open up a daycare? You can hire an administrator. You can make 10 times more money than working as a nanny in New York, and you can travel the world. She said, wait, I could do that? I was like, yeah, we can do that right now if you wanted. People don't understand. Like, change the way you think.
Everything opens up a little bit.
Exactly. So now she's like, wait, I can do that. So now let's do research. Let's figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's call the people that we know who already have daycares and been through this and see if they can mentor you to figure out every step of the way, because they've already been through those hiccups.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Not at all.
No. And most of the
Make
time,
it a little bit better.
That's right. And most of the time, these adults, what are they going to do? They're going to hold that kid nice and tight and become their mentor. You know, because they know their success was because of them.
Yeah.
That's gratifying for people. People love that.
And when you're a kid, you don't have the, people don't really look at you as a threat.
Absolutely not.
So they're like, yeah, this little kid, you know, let me bring him along and let him show you. But when you're a full grown up, you're like,
that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You know, now you're scared. Like, you know, my son, he's an event host. Since he's 8 years old, he's already spoken in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, MMA fights, fashion shows. The confidence that kid has, we just allowed him to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
You know, he wanted to pick up a mic. Do it. Don't tell your kids, stop being weird. Don't do that. Don't do this. Let their imagination go. If the idea isn't crazy, it's not a business. It has to be an insane idea to legit be a business.
True.
People aren't going to believe you until you do it. So if a kid says, I want to create something and you're like, that's never going to work, I guarantee you that kid's going to figure a way to make it work.
It's going to work.
And all they're doing is solving the problem that they see in a particular product or service.
Yeah.
That's what business is. So if you can literally sit here and be like, oh man, I remember when I got this, all these problems I was having. All right, cool. How do I fix all these? You just created a business. That's business, period. If you ain't solving a problem, you're not in business. You're just doing it for a hobby.
Pretty much. Okay. So before we wrap up this conversation, what's next for you for 2020 outside of kids and biz? I know that's
kids and biz will be the biggest thing, but also launching a food branding company.
Okay, we talked about that before.
Yep. So we'll launch brands in 45 days. Premium brands. Let me get that right. We're going after premium brands. People who understand what it's, the value in making sure it's right from the beginning.
Okay.
This isn't stuff that you add later.
Yeah.
Because now you got to try to win. You might have been targeting the wrong customer the whole time you've been in business because you never did this step.
Right.
So we're going to launch the premium brand stuff. But I think really kids and biz is really, we plan to be on every state, every country.
Okay.
We've already been offered spots. We got kids in Italy ready to go. Like we're not even open yet.
Right.
And these kids are ready. People understand, especially parents who are entrepreneurships. And when they walk in the office, they're like, why didn't I have this?
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll launch the other branches of it because we want to help the homeless. I'm tired of nonprofit companies that keep doing the handout and not the hand up. I need to be the hand up. I want to get you out of homelessness so that you'll never be there again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you how to own your own business.
Yeah.
Because then you'll never have to be in that position again.
Okay. I know I said we're wrapping up. One question. Do you feel like everybody can be an entrepreneur?
So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Every kid that goes through our programs will not be an entrepreneur. Okay. But let me tell you something. They're going to be an asset to any business that they ever work in.
Okay.
Why? Because you're never walking in. If I teach a kid the skills of an entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. And now they know this isn't for them. Because obviously we need people that work too. Not entrepreneurship is for everybody.
Not everybody can be
literally, you have to, it's a lot of work. You got to wake yourself up. You got to be at certain places, certain times. As an entrepreneur, you don't have anybody saying, get up. You don't got a boss. You are your boss.
The entrepreneur isn't for the weak.
No, absolutely not. There's a lot into it. But if I teach you this skill of entrepreneurship, right? And now you go into the workplace. You're not the guy who's sitting there, you just brought in $1,000. Well, I'm only making $10 off of that, right? Now you're the guy that's like, all right, how can I make more money for this business? Oh, this process is weak. I bet you if I change this, I can change the way this business is running and make more money for the business.
Right.
So,
you become more of an asset to that business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So eventually you might end up owning your own business because you see what you're doing when you walk into these businesses. But no, not everybody's an entrepreneur.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of heart, a lot of dedication because you have your ups and downs. I mean, I could tell you, I don't even have enough fingers on my hands how many times I wanted to quit.
Yeah. And as you said earlier, it's lonely as hell.
It's lonely.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we got to change in this market, by building mastermind groups where us entrepreneurs get together and actually just talk and share the information. You have knowledge I don't know about. I got stuff that you don't know about.
Right.
So if we can sit in a room and talk about it, whatever we talk about is going to help generate money as a group.
True.
Stop thinking selfishly and start thinking listen, our job as entrepreneurs is to uplift our community.
You're right.
How do we do that? As a team. Mm-hmm. I can't do it alone.
Right.
I will never, ever be able to do it alone.
Need more like-minded people around you to kind of come up together.
Exactly. And guess what? That's when we're not lonely no more. Because I can pick up the phone and call you and be like, yo, I'm going through this. It's hard. People don't understand the struggles in entrepreneurship, especially during COVID right now.
Uh-huh.
With COVID right now, you're just like, are you going to be here tomorrow? Especially when everything is being shut down.
Yeah.
No money's coming in. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
COVID wasn't bad for us. The print died, money's not coming in how it used to, so that part sucks.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be as far as I am with Kids in Biz if it wasn't for COVID. Because COVID was, you know, Kids in Biz was just talk and moving at a snail pace. That now we're running with it.
Right.
Because we've always seen, just didn't have the time because we were so busy with everything else. So it allowed us as a business to slow down and take that break that we needed. And as a family, to bring your families back together. You know, me and my wife, we always walked, you know, with the kids and stuff. But when COVID hit, we're like, where them families come from? What? They got kids? You know, because now everybody.
Families walking around the block.
Exactly. You know, so it brought families back together. So, you know, COVID was just a time to sit back, analyze everything in your life, and figure out where the pivot needs to happen. If I'm going this way, why am I going here?
True.
You know, like 2021, I'll probably be a realtor, you know? And people are like, really? I'm like, bro, you not understand how many customers I got? You not understand everybody knows who I am? Do you not understand everybody trusts me? It's easy. And I own a printing and marketing company. You know how easy it is to be market myself? You know?
I've thought about that too, actually.
Let me tell you why. And we can wrap it up, but I learned that we had to diversify too because of COVID. My money was strictly printing for 15 years. That came to a halt. That's a scary situation. So what do? We got to pivot. What can I do that'll never be taken away from me? Everybody's buying houses. Real estate is the move right now.
It's booming right now.
So why not jump into that?
If you already know everybody, you can market yourself. So that means your name will be even more out there. It's an easy layup.
So easy. And the trust is already there. I've been doing business 15 years, over 3,000 clients. What does that tell you? People trust me. Real estate is based off of trust. You want to make sure you're getting the right deal and you're being looked out for. So who they going to call?
They call you.
That's right.
You might need to go ahead and make that move, man.
I'm already working on it. So it's happening. I'm telling you, 2021 is happening.
I already know. All right, cool. Well, this is a great conversation. I appreciate everything, man. Where can people find you at if they don't know already?
Social media, Instagram, everything's Innovative Twist. I mean, I promote Innovative Twist, but this is all about the change. It's all about to be Kids in Biz. Kids in Biz is on social media right now. Website will be launching soon. Innovative Twist is literally everything for social media, the website, everything. And listen, any entrepreneurs, anything you need to know, want to know, you can literally call me. I don't hoard information. I will give it out, you know, because I want to see you succeed. Any ideas you come up with, bring it to me. I don't care. Let's talk about it. Let's see. Let's see if our market needs that. Because people don't do that neither.
You're right about that.
They don't do that market research, man.
You're right about that. Well, once again, man, I appreciate you coming in here this morning, just sitting down with me, and we can politic.
I appreciate you having me.
Type of stuff, man.
Oh yeah, we can sit here all day.
Most definitely.
You hitting all my favorite points.
I don't usually get to have these conversations, so I thoroughly enjoyed this right now. So, thank you guys for checking out this episode. Like I said, if you're interested in this conversation, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please consider following both of us, and please consider just having these conversations with other entrepreneurs in your circle, because they probably don't have anybody to speak to. If you're an entrepreneur, you probably don't have nobody to speak to. So these are good talking points to actually have these conversations with. Just
look out in 2021. Me and him are going to start a mastermind group. That I'm just putting it out there right now. It's already out in the air.
I'm with it.
It's needed. We need it.
I'm with it. 1,000%. All right, you guys. So once again, I'm Shy Harris, and you guys stay safe, stay free, but keep creating, keep shooting, and you guys have a good one.